question. Hello YouTube, Turtleags here, bringing you another AFK journey video. For those of you watching on the live stream, you can say hi to YouTube, say hi to your mom, hi to your future self, whoever you want. And this is actually a very popular demand topic, which is what are the top 10 EX weapons to work on? Given the limited resources, such as the title essences, the orange essences, and very much the red essences, a lot of people ask me, hey, which EX weapons I should work on first. And I think, of course, that if we're talking about EX weapons to prioritize, what you're really asking is, what are the endgame characters and how can I best maximize the value of the resources that I pour into my units? And for this reason, I'm actually going to break it down into top 10 units for the Dream Realm, which would be something like this. And then top 10 units for endgame content, such as Arena, right? Or AFK stages. And if you've cleared AFK stages already, the Trial of the Abyss. So Trial of the Abyss is actually the endgame, super endgame content that Lilith Games has released for whales. Currently there are, how many of us? There's actually 53 of us on server 25 that have entered the Trial of the Abyss, so maybe like less than 1% of the people playing this game. As you can see, I am top 5, so I can kind of give you a preview of basically the top 10 EX weapons that I recommend to you will have very much to do with what I believe to be the best valued characters that are relatively future-proof and very relevant in clearing all endgame content, including Trial of the Abyss, including top 10 in the Dream Realm. So without further ado, let's actually, since we're here, let's talk about Trial of the Abyss, AFK stages, and Arena. What are the top 10 EX weapons I would recommend you work on? Well, for Trial of the Abyss, there will basically be two teams that you're going to want to build. You're going to want to build a full Mauler team that is hyper defensive, that can withstand a Resonance 425 Shakir combined with a Damien, or Resonance 425 Cassidy that one-shots your entire party. Or let's say there's so many examples. Basically, you need a team that can survive the first 3 seconds of the match. So that would be the full Mauler team. And then if a team is a little more mid-range that you're facing against, where they don't blast you in the beginning, but it can get super crazy towards the middle and end, then you have the Aaron team, the Aaron Scarlita team. So the top 10 EX weapons that I would recommend for Trial of the Abyss, AFK stages, and Arena PvP are number 1, Aaron. We have to talk about Aaron. Aaron is going to be a huge topic of discussion for anything related to endgame, because the way Aaron works is that he is able to vortex the enemies, basically group them all together, kind of like Kazuha and Genshin Impact at the start of the battle. And this, in combination with his ability to shred 55% magic defense on all enemies caught in his 3-tile cleave, is going to make him a beast on any team that basically wants to maximize the power of your magic users, specifically Carolina and Arden. And so for this reason, as you can see here, I do have my Aaron EX weapon level 14. So for the purposes of this discussion, he essentially has the effect of EX weapon 10 plus additional stats. And at EX weapon level 10, the immobilized duration of his vortex, his ultimate, doubles from 3 seconds to 6 seconds. Immobilized makes it so they cannot act. This is really crucial if you want to keep them where they are longer. That way your Carolina and your Arden and your other units, even Scarlita, have time to actually cleave multiple enemies in with each attack. So yeah, Aaron's EX weapon, top 10. The next top 10 would be Arden. So the reason why Arden's EX weapon is also top 10 is because what is amazing about Arden is that not only is he a massive AoE damage dealer, one of the best in the game, if not the best, but he also has the ability to entangle roots, making them rooted to the ground, the enemies, so that they cannot move or act. And when you first get his EX weapon, it'll be like 2 seconds if I'm not mistaken. Let me check. Yeah, entangle 2 closest enemies for 2 seconds. But once you unlock his EX weapon, you can actually entangle all 5 enemies. Or if there's more than 5 enemies, it'll entangle them as well. Basically entangles all enemies, making it so that they cannot act. Yes, and when you have the EX weapon of Arden to level 10, you actually increase the duration of the entangle roots to 3 seconds, basically increasing the duration by 50%. He really is the damage backbone of Aaron formations, and I would agree with Cassin 100%. Basically, Aaron and Arden are pretty much the backbone to any Aaron team. They are wilder and they are magic users. Carolina is often the one who is added to the mix to round out the roster. And so, you know, getting EX weapon level 10 for Carolina, definitely top 10 EX weapon. The reason for this is because what makes Carolina so good is that with her EX weapon, at level 1, she is already shredding magic defense by 15%. However, when you get her to level 10, her magic defense shred increases to 25%. So 25% of, you know, Carolina's magic defense shred plus 55% with a Supreme plus Aaron equates to an 80% magic defense shred when you combine Carolina with Aaron. For this reason, Carolina's EX weapon level 10 is very good. Plus, you know, with her snowballs, she is able to, you know, with her EX weapon leveled up more and more, she is able to hit harder and harder with her snowballs. And as many of you know, when she has Supreme Plus, her snowballs inflict frostbite, not just her ultimate. And frostbite is a stackable debuff that reduces the enemy's haste, which makes basically them hit you less, cast spells on you less, and cast ultimate on you less frequently. So very, very powerful. That would be number 3. Number 4, I would say probably would be probably Granny. So the thing is, when you reach, oh, actually, no, not Granny. Well, Granny too, but we're doing top 10, right?
You're the only one.
Alright, so Thorin would be next. The main reason being is that for all AFK stages and arena and the first half of AFK or of Trial of the Abyss, Thorin is going to be your best tank and the most flexible tank. Because I kind of hesitated on Granny, because for Granny's EX weapon to be for Granny to be even playable, you need to pair her up with Rowan. So I would say Thorin would be number 4. Sorry, just connected. What's top 3? Quick recap, please. Yes. So Nazgul, Aaron number 1, Arden number 2, Carolina number 3. I'm doing a top 10 for for Dream Realm / Primal Lords, and I'm doing a top 10 for AFK stages, Trial of the Abyss, and Arena. So 2 top 10s. I'm going over the AFK stage, Trial of the Abyss, and Arena first. Yes. Hey Turtle, how are you doing? Doing fantastic, Zero. You're on YouTube right now. We are ranking the top 10 EX weapons to build for both Dream Realm and outside of Dream Realm. Yes. All right. So, yes, the reason why Thorin's EX weapon is so good to bring to level 10 and beyond is because the higher level his EX weapon, the more HP he leeches from the enemy, as well as also enabling the best part of his kit, which is signing a pact with an ally behind him in order to take damage from the partnered person, as well as being able to revive, when he goes down. Yeah, so hey Ghoul, good to see you. Yeah, Granny's late game tank, big for Abyss. Yes. Okay, so that would be number 4. And then number 5, I would say, would be probably Rowan. So this one is going to be, I think a lot of people are going to raise their eyebrows with this, but the reason why Rowan is number 5 for top 10 EX weapon, oh, thank you for the sub, Ghoul, appreciate you, is because when you reach the end game, you are going to find that there will be times when the enemy is hitting you so fast that you probably want to have an energy battery. And Rowan is actually pretty much one of the only true blue energy batteries in the game. There are characters like Damien, characters like Haywin, who increase the haste of your characters, which thus allows you to generate energy faster in order to cast your ults. However, Rowan flat out gives energy, and he is necessary in order to get certain characters like Coco, certain characters like Granny to get, or even Haywin to get their ultimates up quick enough for that juicy 32% damage reduction in the case of Haywin, or the super tanking crowd control ultimate of Granny, or let's say Coco's 45% damage reduction. Rowan is the one who gets you there faster during critical moments. Hey Turtle, I have my Rowan EX weapon level 9 and Thorin at level 6. Perfect, yeah. So I would Woke Boomer, I would recommend bringing Rowan to EX level 10 first, and then EX 10 for Thorin. Yeah, those are definitely top 10s. And actually, the reason why Rowan's EX weapon is so good is because he is able. So in the beginning, his heals are really not that great. You get only 2 potions in his cart, and they heal when they're basically emergency heals. So not like a dedicated healer per se, more like a sub healer / energy generator. But once you get his EX weapon, he has access to 3 health potions, and he also can have a super health potion that not only heals you, but also permanently increases the physical and magic defense of that user, that ally, by 30%. And that actually, the frequency with which you get those mega health potions increases, as well as its potency, increasing even more defense. So it's really good. Okay, thanks. I will work on my Carolina and Aaron when I get them to Mythic Plus. Excellent. Yes. So I would rank Rowan's EX weapon level 10 as number 5. You will run Rowan in the game, the end game, trust me. And then Granny would be number 6. So why would you want to bring her EX weapon to at least level 10? Because when you're in the Trial of the Abyss and also high AFK stages, what will end up happening is you're going to face enemies that are at least 70 resonance levels higher than you, and they have the ability to destroy your entire team within 5 seconds or less. So how do you survive the first 5 seconds to stabilize and perhaps survive the next 5 seconds. Well, there's 2 ways you can do that. You can either do Brutus Entendre combination, I'll talk about that later, or you could do a Granny Rowan combination. Yes, because with Granny, as some of you know, so with her EX weapon, when her HP goes below 50%, the Glimmer Bloom shield grows bigger, increasing her physical and magic defense by 50%, and recovering 100% HP every second. And so basically she turtles up and is very difficult to kill even when she has a sliver of health, because she'll just heal. But it's not just that. At level 10, and this is where my Granny actually stopped dying for the most part, was gaining unaffected when skill takes effect, meaning that she's immune to all control effects. Which is perfect, right? Because the last thing you want is for Granny to start turtling up and then the opposing Carolina like plops a freeze on Granny, stopping her in her tracks from protecting the teammates behind her. So having that immunity is very important, and really you want to get Granny and Rowan both to EX weapon level 10, because you got to think of them as 2 peas in a pod. Although Rowan does have increased flexibility in pairing up with Coco, pairing up with Halen, pairing up with whoever you need to get their ultimate up faster with. Okay, so that would be number 6. Number 7 is going to have to be Scarlita. Now, this is a really tricky situation because I know most of you are not buying stargazing packs, and so therefore you're getting Scarlitas and Rainiers at a rate of 1 copy every 2.5 to 3 weeks, depending on how active you are, how active your guild is. And I would say that Scarlita is definitely, if you are serious about getting into the Champions League, particularly the top 5, in Arena, which is where I'm at right now, you do need a Scarlita. You need a Scarlita for Trial of the Abyss beginning stage 301, although she is very relevant much earlier than that as well. But starting 301, that is where the content gets so ridiculously insane that you need Granny, Rowan, and Scarlita to have a chance to clear the stage. Like, that's how hyper offensive the enemies are at that point. And what makes Scarlita's EX weapon so good? Well, at EX weapon level 10, what ends up happening is that, part of what makes Scarlita such a unique DPS. Hey Kyra, you're on YouTube. Hi. We're filming a top 10 EX weapons to work on for both Dream Realm and outside Dream Realm. And Scarlita's number 7. Yeah, and so with her, she deals true damage with her EX weapon if she has 4 surviving teammates. But when you bring her up to level 5 EX weapon, that criteria shrinks to 3. And true damage is a really big deal because this allows her to bypass defenses, making her an excellent damage dealer against really tanky units like Thorin, like Granny. I have lost a match because the opponent's Scarlita baseballed my Granny off the map with execution. So, the higher your EX weapon, the more, the less the criteria. So in this case, EX weapon level 10, Scarlita skills knock the non-boss enemies with HP lower than 180% attack and HP ratio below 20% out of the battlefield. Just basically takes them off the map. So very, very useful EX weapon. As a matter of fact, 3 out of 5 of the people in Champions right now, including myself, are running Scarlita EX weapon level 15. That's how much we value her EX weapon. Okay, so that was number 7. And then number 8 is going to be Brutus. And I'm actually working on Brutus right now. So the reason why you want to bring his EX weapon to level 10 is because what makes Brutus such a unique character and such a necessary character if you're really climbing up, pushing AFK stages and Trial of the Abyss, is that, when the enemy is one-shotting your party and two-shotting your tanks, you pretty much need a way to take multiple of those one-shots long enough for your Coco to get her ult online, or for your Entendre to shield your whoever is about to get killed. So Brutus is there to basically survive past death in order to help your team stabilize, get the shields up, so you can actually have somewhat of a fair fight. That's kind of the idea behind Brutus. And with his EX weapon, it actually makes it so that he has survivability. Some people are like, oh, I'm just going to bring Brutus to die. But when you are clearing endgame content, you still want your Brutus to stay alive. And this is where the 30% life drain really helps out. And as a matter of fact, over time, as you level up his EX weapon more and more, he is actually able to deal decent damage with his spin attack, right? You all have seen it and probably gotten killed by it. And with EX weapon level 10, which I'm working towards, it removes the cooldown limit for this skill, and basically allows him to cast the skill for every 10 physical damage attacks he takes from adjacent enemies. So what this means is he's attacking more, which allows him to life drain more, and he just basically stays alive. And him combined with Entendre, who is actually number 9 on this list, is able to keep your team alive. So let's go over number 9, which is Entendre. Okay, so why would you want to... I'm working on her too. I was kind of late to the party. I had my Entendre Supreme and my Brutus Legendary as I was tackling the Trial of the Abyss, and I really Monka-esque my way through stage 300, and now I'm like, dude, if I had built my Entendre earlier, built my Brutus earlier, like Vulcan had recommended, I would have saved myself 2 days of wiping. No joke. Are you the famous thumb man? I don't know. maybe. The one who does the thumbs up. Maybe. Now, with Entendre, what is amazing about her... Good morning, Mizua. Good to see you. You're on YouTube right now. We are filming a top 10 EX weapon for Dream Realm and outside Dream Realm. We're talking about outside Dream Realm right now. So definitely at number 9, we have Entendre. What does Monka even mean? Monka is kind of a funny way to say like, oh, I'm stressed, or oh, why me? And it's kind of like a comical like, oh, woe is me, have to deal with this issue. And I'm just trying to hang on for dear life. That's what Monka means. As for the origin, I don't fully know how the origin came to be. Now with Entendre, what I love about her as a tank is that she rushes to the guarded ally when their HP ratio drops below 50% for the first time, reducing their damage taken by 40% for 10 seconds. This skill can only be used once for each guarded ally per battle. This is why I love pairing her up with Brutus, because between the two of them, they can keep your team alive long enough for Coco to apply her 45% damage reduction. My problem with building Entendre is there's not enough wishlist spot for her. Agreed, Rashesh. So it's kind of an issue, but you just gotta make it work. That's where the dream points are really going to come in. I would prioritize using your dream points on the A rank maulers, because they tend to be the bottlenecks. Yes, and then At level 5, when she rushes next to the guarded ally, she recovers their energy by 100 per second for 4 seconds. It's insane. Symbolic. Thank you so much for the follow. Appreciate you. And at level 10, she actually reduces their damage taken by 50% for 10 seconds, which is nuts, guys. Like, I mean, Entendre, in addition to being the hottest tank in the game, she is also a fantastic defensive tank. All right. And then I would say Coco, getting her EX weapon to level 10, she would be number 10. There are some overlaps like Odie and that sort of thing who will be in the top 10 for Dream Realm. So don't worry, okay, guys? Don't worry. I'm just talking right now about AFK stages, Trial of the Abyss, and Arena PvP right now, the top 10 for those. So placed at number 10 would be Coco. Now, Coco is a character who is very, very valuable because, as you can see, at level 1, with her ultimate, she is able to mitigate damage by 45%. But with her EX weapon, what happens is that she records, after recording the damage that was taken by her party, the allies, they gain a shield for 7 seconds that absorbs damage equal to 15% of the total damage taken. So that's really good because that makes Coco not only a damage mitigator and healer, emergency healer, but also a shield bot, which makes her really, really good. Thanks for recording this video so fast, Lags. Absolutely, absolutely. A lot of people ask me this question every day. And as you can see, at level 5, you increase the shield value to 20%. 20% shields, guys. And then at level 10, removes all allies' control effects when casting full energy, gaining 20 resilience when the skill takes effect. Resilience is how likely you are to resist a control effect cast by the enemy. So she's like a cleanser, guys. She's a cleanser, a shielder, a damage mitigator. She is definitely worth investing in. My new epic wish list will be Odie, Merrily, Entendre, Coco, Corin, Kekwin. Excellent, excellent. So in summary, the top 10 for Arena PvP, Trial of the Abyss, and AFK stages are Aaron, Arden, Carolina, Thorin, Rowan, Granny, what's her name? Scarlita. Actually, hold on. Let me start over. So what was it? It was Arden, Aaron, Rowan, Granny, Scarlita, Carolina, Thorin, Coco, Brutus, and Entendre. Yes. Those get them to EX weapon level 10, because if you get those to level 10, all the pieces will fall into place. Okay, now let's talk about the top 10 EX weapons to build for Dream Realm, as well as the Primal Lords, because they are very similar in the sense that you're facing against one chunky boss. So number 1, I would say probably would be Odie. And the reason why Odie is number 1 for his EX weapon is because he is arguably the best damage dealer in the game for single target scenarios. And the reason for that is because he is able to poison the enemy and apply up to 20 stacks of poison, which scales off of the enemy's max HP. So the chunkier the boy, the more poison damage they'll take. And so that's why he's like so insane in all the Dream Realm bosses. And you'll see that his damage is usually one of the highest, only rivaled by, say, like Merrily and maybe to some extent Corin. Now, when you get his EX weapon, what will happen is that actually at level 1, it doesn't really have much benefit against a Dream Realm boss, because it states OD immediately defeats the poison enemy when their HP falls below a certain limit, equal to 5.2% the base damage dealt by the poison dart per second. So that's not really going to apply for a Dream Realm boss. However, if you look elsewhere, so the limit is equal to 5.7 times the base damage of poison dart, and then level 10 would be 600 initial energy. I mean, I admit that this is not exactly the best for Dream Realm. However, because OD is your premium damage dealer typically, so for this reason, getting him to EX weapon level 10 will ensure that you're getting high damage output from OD. And it'll really make your life a million times easier in other content as well, such as AFK stages, as well as Trial of the Abyss, which is where you will also run OD. Now, rank number 2 is going to be Merely. And the reason why Merely is second is because her EX weapon makes it so that she deals insane amounts of damage. What makes Merely so good is that she increases her attack speed, and after gaining X amount of stacks of attack percent boost, she is able to deal true damage. And with her EX weapon, her attack increases by 5% when other allies cast an ultimate up to 6 stacks. Her normal attacks deal true damage after reaching max stacks. And as I mentioned before, true damage does bypass the enemy defenses. And then at level 5, gains an extra stack of battlefield learning when the hyperfocus takes effect for every 10 seconds. And this makes her a really huge damage dealer. And then at EX weapon level 10 increases each stack of attack bonus from 3% to 7.5%. So this theoretically, like, almost, if not more than, doubles her damage. And so, Merely is definitely a character you want to bring to EX weapon level 10. Now, probably rank number 3 is going to be Reiner. Now, I know this is a really tall order for those of you who are deciding between Reiner or Scarlita. That's why we have our top 10. If you are serious about being top 10 in the Dream Realm, which nowadays I'm still doing it 75% of the time, but there's one Dream Realm boss that I dropped down to like 12th or 13th place. But to even have a chance at top 10, you really do need Reiner EX weapon level 10 and Mythic Plus. And so why is that the case? Well, the reason is because once you get his EX weapon level high enough, Reiner actually does decent amounts of damage, probably comparable to Thorin or maybe Smokey. Well, actually less than Smokey, but comparable to Thorin in my opinion. And basically what happens is that with the EX weapon level 1, he increases the damage taken by the enemy, including the Dream Realm boss, by 25% till the battle ends. Not to mention, he deals increased damage to them. Now, when you get to EX weapon level 10, he reduces the position switched allies' damage taken by 25% till the battle ends. So EX weapon level 10 makes it so that not only is the enemy taking 25% increased damage, but your ally is taking 25% less damage. And that ally is also gaining a 12% attack boost when you have Hero Focus level 3. So it's just really incredible, Reiner's ability to just really shift the tide of battle in your favor when you are trying to attain high scores in the Dream Realm. So Reiner's number 3. Now number 4 would have to be Corin. Now Corin, now people really appreciate him because the Alpha Bear is out, at least in my server. And the reason for that is because Corin, what is really unique about him is that he is an offensive DPS who jumps around and he also shields. And his shield mechanic is very good because, like, say if you're facing off against the Alpha Bear and he's applying honey to your party members, and you are, your healing potency decreases by 80%, 80%. This is where shields are king, and Corin is the king of applying shields. And he's very effective and efficient and quick at it because he jumps around the map, ally to ally, applying shields, while at the same time bouncing back to 2 tile spaces away from the enemy in order to continue attacking. So very fun unit to play, and definitely more people are respecting his relevance in the Dream Realm and Primal Lords. So what makes his EX weapon so good? Well, when Corin and the allies within 2 tiles cast their ultimates 3 times in total, Corin's arms feel nature's power, enchanting his spear with wilder magic, dealing additional true damage equal to 2% of the target's max HP for 8 seconds with follow-up attacks. The extra damage cannot exceed 40% of Corin's attack. So what does this mean? This means that the chonkier the boy, the more this weapon matters. And the only other characters who even have anything close to this would be Odie's Poison Stacks, as well as, I believe, Viperion. Although Viperion is not as good as Odie or Merrily or Corin for other reasons, which I won't get into this video, but yeah. So Corin would be number 4 EX weapon to work on. So that's just level 1, okay? Level 2 increases the attack speed by 60 during the skill. To put it into perspective, attack speed 45 is already kind of insane, so 60, he's like attacking lightning fast. And then at level 10, increases the additional true damage to 2.5% of the target's max HP. Insane, guys, insane. Yeah. There are times when he does even more damage than Merrily and about the same damage as Odie. So it gets, and he's shielding on top of doing all that. So I really do like Corin very much. Okay, so that was number 4. Number 5, this is going to shock you guys. It's going to be Cassidy. Now, why Cassidy? Well, Cassidy, what is so interesting about her is that at the start of battle, she blesses one of her allies. Yeah, I know, Cassidy, right? Spicy, yeah. So I have to do some explaining. So why number 5? Well, Cassidy, the reason why she's so good in the Dream Realm is because when you have her bless an ally with insane attack speed, such as Corin, such as Merrily, such as Odie, every time they deal X amount of normal attacks, an undercurrent comes from under the enemy, dealing splash damage, or it's basically what Cassidy is doing is she blesses a DPS, and the undercurrent damage happens every time you do X amount of normal attacks. And yeah, so Running Tide grants all allied heroes on the path a temporary buff. Oh, so the EX weapon is really good because normally the blessing only applies to... Yeah, selects the nearest ally when the battle starts, granting them the blessing of tidal strength. She deals extra 60% magic damage to the enemy once when the blessed enemy hits them with normal attacks. The blessing vanishes after the above effect is triggered 9 times. Cassidy will bless this ally again after 9 seconds, which cannot be dispelled. Yeah, so basically you're making your damage dealer deal more damage. You can kind of think of this as equivalent to Zile and Honkai Star Rail, where the more kills she gets, the more attacks she gets. So in this case, it's more like the more normal attacks you do, the more undercurrent damage you're going to do. Yeah, so, and then with their EX weapon, she actually grants all ally heroes on the path with Running Tide. Yeah, so when she does her ultimate, the tidal wave, right? The one that one-shots your entire party. when you're facing the Trial of the Abyss. You guys would know what I mean if you're there. It grants so all allied heroes that are kind of the wave goes through them gains a temporary buff empowering their next 6 normal attacks with the effect of tidal strength, which is the blessing that she applied to that one unit at the start of battle. All of a sudden, you have all 5 of your units, whenever they do normal attacks, they're also doing undercurrent damage, you know? And then, so it's saying empowering their next 6 normal attacks. However, when you get it to level 5, you do it for the next 8 normal attacks. And then when at level 10, when the enemy takes damage from tidal strength 6 times, they will be hit by the undercurrent once immediately. So it's just like damage, damage, and more damage. So Cassidy is good? Yep, she is good. Yeah. And I can actually showcase this to you in 4 minutes if you'd like. Yeah, she will get you a high score in the Dream Realm. Alright, so that's another top 10. So I think we've talked about who so far. We've talked about... Oh, thank you so much. Kozik Gaming, thank you for the follow. Appreciate you. Thank you, thank you. Bless you. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Alright, so let's recap the top 5 so far. We've talked about Odie. We've talked about Corin. We've talked about Merrily. We've talked about Cassidy. We've talked about Reiner. Number 6 is going to be Smokey.
Hey, you all right?
And those of you who are sweaty gamers who push the damage output and just try to get the highest score you possibly can in the Dream Realm, you're looking for every little bit of damage. And that's when, you know, if you have a healer who is not only buffing your allies' attacks, but is also dealing damage, then that's a huge win, right? This is what makes Smokey one of the best healers, if not the best healer for the Dream Realm. Because not only does he buff the attack of your party, but he also deals damage and decent, significant damage to the enemy. What do you think, Odie, 1 to 10? I ranked Odie as number 1 because he is the GOAT of damage dealing against the Dream Realm boss. His EX weapon is not the best, however, you do want him to deal high damage, and he is very good also in AFK stages. Yeah, GOAT D, exactly. Odie carries me from 600 to 1125. So yeah, like Diego said, Odie really is the GOAT. And Smokey is the GOAT of healing, offensive healing. So the way his EX weapon works is that when you get it to level 1, after you cast the aroma a 3rd time, you will increase the range of your smoke by 1 tile, which means that there's a wider part of the map through of which if your ally is in it, they will get healed and get the attack buff. But not only that, at the 3rd upgrading effect, the aroma will be enhanced for 10 seconds. It'll turn blue and making the enemies in the skill range lose 12% of their max HP per second. So the chunkier the enemy, the more damage this is going to deal. This is why sometimes you can have Smokey do as much damage as Thorin, maybe even more, because taking 12% max HP off of a chunky 12 billion or whatever billion HP enemy is going to do a lot of damage, even if it's just for 10 seconds. And so for this reason, he's pretty much the healer I bring in every Dream Realm boss and every Primal Lord. Yes. When I get Odie Supreme Plus, one-shot everything. Yes, Odie is really good. Sorry, excuse me. So that would be number 6. We're almost done, guys. 4 more. So, rank number 7 is going to be... Probably Haywin. So the reason why Haywin's number 7 is because her EX weapon allows her to be CC immune for 6 seconds when she casts Prayer Rain. She also applies a damage mitigation, like your allies take 30% less damage. At level 5, she gains 300 initial energy, which makes it that much closer to casting her ultimate in the beginning to stabilize. It's very important, especially when you're going against a hyper offensive enemy. And then, at level 10, when Prayer Rain takes effect, Haywin's healing grants buffs from Revitalize, and all her allies' damage taken is reduced by 30%. So what does Revitalize? I believe it cleanses. Let me check. Oh, I'm sorry, not cleanses. It makes it so that healing potency increases. Basically, with Haywin, you're going to top up the HP of your allies much faster than any other ally because they have Revitalize, which increases their healing bonus by 120% of her attack. So that's number 7. Number 8 is going to be... I'm going to be honest, I don't think... Oh, probably Damien. Okay, so Damien number 8. Actually, technically, he would be like number 11 or 12 for, AFK stages in Trial of the Abyss, but I'm going to put him number 8 here. The reason why is because, when you're in the end game, Damien is going to be one of the best healers you have. The reason being that he's the only healer that when he dies, he comes back to life. Because the thing is, Damien's not actually on the battlefield. He's off the map and he's waving a wand to direct his chariot to do various things, whether it's to blind the enemy, stun the enemy, increase the haste of your party, or to heal your party members. And when the chariot dies, then you can bring the chariot back to life by recasting your ultimate. Now with his EX weapon, this is actually a very good ability. When the chariot activates a music halo, responding to emergency support, which is when one of your allies dips in the red, like low HP, the chariot inspires non-summoned allies. So basically your allies, not your Mr. Carlisle, not your, Spiny or whatever, inspires those non-summoned allies within 2 tiles, increasing their haste by 40 for 10 seconds. This basically increases the rate at which you attack and cast your spells, which gets you to your ultimate faster. And then at level 5, it heals more, the chariot. And then at level 10, inspires non-summoned allies and grants them 50 haste. So very good. In a way, he's kind of like an offensive healer. Like Rowan and Smokey. Okay. So that's number 8. Number 9 probably would be... Then after that you can do like Vaa. Vaa, actually, if you're serious about playing her, you really do need to get her EX weapon level 10, perhaps even 15, because the way to activate her invisibility is to knock out an enemy, and to do that you really need a high EX weapon. She really does get a lot better once she's able to reliably 2 or 3 shot the enemy. And for that reason, so when a marked enemy is defeated, Vaa hides in the darkness, can only be targeted after all other allies are defeated, increasing her movement speed by 60% and haste by 80 for 10 seconds. So quite powerful there, being able to move quickly and attack very, very fast. Just to put it in perspective, applying a 45 haste is already pretty good. So to give herself 80 haste is absolutely insane. She'll be moving like a ninja. And then, at EX weapon level 5, the haste increases to 100, which is absolutely bonkers. And then at 10, she restores 40% of her max HP when a marked enemy is defeated, which is huge because when she brings the enemy to low HP, she actually teleports over to where the enemy is to enter her melee stance to deal even more damage. However, this also makes her very susceptible to getting sniped while being in enemy territory. And so this is where having EX weapon level 10 is going to really improve her survivability. That way she can bounce from enemy to enemy, killing them one by one. Okay, and then number 10 is probably going to be Shakir. Now Shakir, he is good in Dream Realm and any situation where the enemy is chonky, but also in situations where maybe the opponent is making it harder for you to cast your ultimates, such as Necro Dragon. And for this reason, the nice thing about Shakir is that he's a damage dealer who only needs to activate his ultimate once. His ultimate will get him into the wolf mode, and you get various benefits from being in wolf mode, such as, gaining increased damage, output, as well as healing, having a leech rate. And so as you can see here, with the EX weapon, Shakir can cast his ultimate once his energy exceeds 800. And so that's actually good because most ultimates are cast when you have 1,000 energies. So minimizing the ultimate requirement is very good. Shakir stays in wolf form, consumes no energy within 5 seconds each time after casting the ultimate. So very, very useful because once you're in the wolf mode, you're in wolf mode. And when you're in wolf mode at level 5, consumes no energy within 7 seconds each time after casting his ultimate. And at level 10, each non-summoned ally within Lupine Aura can share the same bonus attack from Wolf's Will. So at EX weapon level 10, Shakir not only becomes insane, but he also makes your party members do more damage. So that pretty much wraps it up for my top 10 for both Dream Realm and non-Dream Realm content. I'm sorry this was kind of rambly, but hopefully this was extremely useful and kind of gives you an idea of the rationale behind why I would recommend these EX weapons, and also gives you kind of some foresight as to what kind of endgame teams you might want to start building. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have questions, you can comment in the comment section below, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye. All right, so that was